Did Carnival ban the wobble? Did Carnival ban clasping fans? Did Carnival ban boots on the ground? Ooh! Y'all, let's talk a little shit, shall we? So for those of you who don't know, which would be everybody because this is literally my first video. So if you are watching this, thank you. My name is Carolyn. I'm just a girl that loves to cruise. So welcome to the channel, Ken K Cruises, okay? Let's get into it. Y'all, everybody's in their feelings. Everybody's in their feelings because Carnival has enforced some of its policies and updated some of its policies. So, were fans banned? Was boots on the ground banned? Where my fans at? Where my fans at? Where my fans at? Hit me one time. Hit me two times. Ow! I never said I was a singer, but you know, I don't think I can get a copyright strike for that, right? So anyway, and did they ban the wobble? Well, okay, so as it turns out, Carnival, you are not allowed to have the fans, those hand fans, inside venues. Not allowed. You are allowed to have them on the Lido deck. So whenever you get on the Lido deck and they're doing the sail away party, you know, and if fans are appropriate, even if they're not appropriate, you can have fans outside on the Lido deck. You can have fans outside. You can have those fans outside. You cannot have them inside, which when you think about it, it makes sense because it's a more enclosed space. And let's just say boots on the ground is playing and you're popping fans and stuff like that. You could very easily hit someone. If you're in a venue and you're typically dancing like that, it's probably at night. You're probably a few drinks in. See where I'm going with this? And then somebody hits you with a fan. And then stuff is breaking out. Okay? So I can see that being Carnival implementing that for safety reasons. I can. I really can. Did they ban the wobble? Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby. Get in there. Yeah, get in there. Okay. I've been on a couple of Carnival cruise ships, and I have to say, I like the wobble. I don't see anything wrong with the wobble. According to what I read, they're not playing the wobble right now. Carnival says they did not ban it, but they're rotating music. And the wobble's been in rotation for quite some time, and they've rotated it out. Will they bring it back? I don't know, but they rotated it out. It hasn't been banned. When it comes to the wobble was fairly innocuous to me. Harmless. To me, it was fairly harmless. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It was, you knew you were going to hear it and, just kind of set the vibe, get the vibe going. So, the ship could be vibing and stuff like that, because Carnival as a brand, has its own particular vibe. Now, don't get me wrong. That does vary from ship to ship because I've been on the Conquest. I've been on the Radiance. Conquest leaves out of Miami, known to be a party ship. Radiance leaves out of Long Beach. Entirely different vibe on the Radiance. A more subdued vibe on the Carnival Radiance. So the brand as itself, the brand as a whole has a particular vibe that they're known for. But even different ships, have different vibes, different personalities, depending upon, the makeup of the patrons on said ship. The length of the sailing. If you get a longer sailing, it's probably less kids on that ship. Probably going to be a little bit more subdued. So there's some things that factor into that. But as a whole, Carnival, of course, is known as the fun ship. The wobble, like I said, we listened to it at the sail away parties and stuff. I enjoyed it just fine. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Like I said, it was perfectly innocuous to me. But for whatever reason, Carnival felt the need to take that song out of rotation. However, they did not ban it, from what I understand. Boots on the Ground. Did they ban Boots on the Ground? They did not. They did not. Because remember, you can still have your clapping fans, your fans, clasping fans, and you can clap your fans outside. You're just not allowed to do it inside, in the venues or anything like that. You can still do it outside. Now, a lot of people are saying that Carnival has made some other changes as well. You know, they've highlighted some of the policies that were already in place but weren't necessarily being enforced. Like teenagers, there's a curfew for teenagers, 1 p.m. Well, that's been a thing. That's been a thing for a while. That's like a thing across other cruise lines as well. You know, I just don't know if Carnival was enforcing it. I'm really not sure. I will say this before I get to that. A lot of people think that the policy changes that are being made are the implementation of the policies that are already in place. They feel to believe that Carnival is targeting black people, and that Carnival is trying to minimize the amount of black people on their ships, the amount of black people using their product. They think that Carnival is targeting black people. So, you know, a lot of people are in their feelings about it. Carnival says that that is not true. That is a misconception. The public relations guy, I forget his name. It escapes me at the moment, but, you know, he said that it's a misconception. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I'm not sure. But I will say this. Y'all, when I see these fights taking place on board, video footage of these fights taking place on board, people throwing chairs, snatching wigs, that brawl in the terminal in Galveston, that is completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. I travel with my daughter. I have to honestly say, though, that I have never witnessed any of that on Carnival cruise ships. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying I've never seen it. Never seen it, never heard of it while I was traveling on their ships. I have not seen it. I do remember going on a royal ship, and I was the first royal ship that I went on. I was very surprised by the security presence that I saw on that ship, which kind of took me aback, because I cruise Royal, I cruise Carnival, and I cruise MSC. I frequent those three. Maybe I'll be doing Disney soon. We'll see. I have never seen a security presence like I had on Explorer of the Seas. That was a Royal Caribbean ship, Explorer of the Seas. I've never seen a security presence like I did on that ship. Maybe Carnival can implement that. You know, I didn't see that kind of security presence on the Carnival ships that I've been on. I haven't seen it. So maybe they can implement more, just security being more ever present, you know. Also, too, nothing will curb someone's behavior like some sort of monetary punishment. Hit them in their wallet. So when you do something like, you know, you have a fight on board, and you're throwing chairs and up to whatever shenanigans you're up to, when you are destroying property, when you are hurting other people, you know, that sort of thing, maybe there should be a fine. Not a $500 fine, because I believe right now the fine is $500. I think you should be banned. Listen, Carnival, if you guys are listening, if ever you manage to stumble across my little channel here in the YouTube universe, my corner of the YouTube world, implement a fine for like thousands of dollars. Start at $5,000. See if $5,000 works. See if 5,000 is a good enough deterrent. If not, bump it to 10. You have cameras everywhere. Bump it to 10. Make an example out of these people. Ban them for life. Take them off at the, if it's in the middle of the cruise, have them do the public walk of shame, escort them off the cruise ship, get off at, whatever port, the next port of call, have them make the walk of shame, charge them 10 grand for disturbing my peace, and ban them for life. See if that helps curb some of this behavior. Now, I will say this. Carnival, this is your fault to an extent, because it would appear as though you were not enforcing some of the policies that you already had in place. That brawl that took place in the Galveston terminal, if you guys are watching this video, it's, what day is it? I know we're in July of 2025. July 14th, I think. That brawl that took place in the terminal in Galveston, that happened earlier during the year, earlier in 2025. That was absolutely ridiculous. My understanding is that it was two different groups, two different families or whatever, one of which being from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And when they get off the cruise ship, they're stomping one another in the terminal. They didn't just wake up that morning and decide, you know what? I'm going to go from 0 to 100 and just start stomping the hell out of these people. No. My understanding is this had started on the ship. They were having issues on the ship. That Carnival, you didn't clock it. Had you clocked it and enforced your policies and procedures, then that brawl in the terminal in Galveston may not have happened. Yes, people should know how to behave. They should. But you should also be enforcing your policies. And for the other people out there that think, you know what, they're targeting black people, this is unfair, I'm boycotting Carnival, I'm banning Carnival, all this other kind of stuff. Listen, like I said, I cruise with my daughter. I want to have an enjoyable cruise. There's nothing wrong with getting up, dancing, having a great time, doing your boots on the ground line dance on the deck, popping your fans on the deck. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I draw the line when people get loud and belligerent, start cussing people out, and then get violent. And if this is what Carnival thinks they need to do to eliminate these fights and things that are going on, I'm really not mad about it. Because I don't want to witness that sort of behavior. Thus far, I have not. But I don't want to witness this sort of behavior. I'm cruising with my child. Even if I wasn't cruising with my child, listen, if I wanted to be around that kind of behavior, I would go where that kind of behavior is perpetuated and accepted and tolerated, and it's just the norm. And in my everyday regular life, I do not engage in such things. And I most certainly don't want to do it on a cruise that I have paid thousands of dollars for. Manage your behaviors. Manage your behaviors or stay your ass home. Carnival, enforce your policies long before it gets to a big brawl in the terminal in Galveston. You had opportunities to squash that before those people started brawling at the terminal when they disembarked. So Carnival's got some work to do. They're trying to do it. Again, the $500 fine, I don't think it's sufficient enough. I don't. No, it needs to be thousands. It needs to be thousands. Also, too, from what I understand, they are limiting some of the rap music that they play in these venues. I'm not mad at that either. Why? I like hip hop. Don't get me wrong. Because again, going back to Royal, when I was on the Explorer of the Sea, I hated the music. I hated it. For the most part, I hated it. It was ABBA, or ABBA, ABBA, and Barry Manilow. Like, people that I don't even know because it's that far back, that generation, right? I'm Gen X. I just didn't connect with a lot of the music being played at all. But again, they also have to cater to people that like that type of stuff, I suppose. Not me. So you know, I don't, some of the rap music I cannot stand. Like when men are talking about their genitalia and what they're gonna do with their genitalia to women, and you know, talking about women's genitalia and women talking about their genitalia and the Sexy Reds of the world, I could do without it. WAP, I could do without that. So those are two women, but I'm not singling out the women. I'm also singling out the men as well. Like I'm talking about the men as well. Like calling women B's and H's, garden tools and stuff like that. You know, and F my baby mama. Like I don't want to hear the ghetto shenanigans. I really don't. So for those of you who I just made mad, it's my first video. You do not have to stay, and you don't ever have to come back. There are other channels for you. You know, like the Shade Room, because they do some shady shit over there. You can go over there. I'm not upset about the changes. I'm not. So Carnival, I won't be boycotting you. I don't have a problem with it. So anyway, those are my thoughts. That's me talking a little shit. So listen, if you guys liked it, please comment, like, share, subscribe, all the things. I do hope to see you guys in other videos, but that is going to depend on you. You know, you have to come back and engage with the videos and stuff like that. I'm happy to come back and talk shit with you guys. I love cruising. I love talking about cruising. I love being on cruises. So I just thought this was a good fit for me, and I'd love to share this with you all. So please, by all means, come back, and I'm happy to have you. All right? Peace out. Bye.